While it's almost WrestleMania from right here in LA, I will be going to at least night one. It was the cheaper night. I could be cheap sometimes, so that's why I only got tickets to night one so far. Wanted to give a little preview on the card and my thoughts on the card. To have a little modern wrestling video. I'm trying to get back into the swing of things with modern wrestling, talk about it here and there. Even if the videos don't do as good as the old school stuff, it can be fun to talk about. I feel like overall the WrestleMania card it's a mixed bag. There's some good stuff, some great builds to the main matches, and then you kind of have some things thrown in that I'm not too happy about. And then we have something I'm really not happy about, and that's that two wrestlers who deserve to have take part in the card aren't on the card yet, and it might be announced to be on the card come SmackDown. That being Bobby Lashley and LA Knight. They're both in the Andre the Giant Battle Royal on SmackDown. Lashley was looking like he's going to have a match with Bray Wyatt. Bray seems injured allegedly, or just not involved with WWE right now. Of course, there's rumors about Bray and if he's leaving again because Vince might be back in creative. You know, all these rumors about Vince in creative. I'm sure Vince does have a little bit of say in creative again, even though Triple H is the main man. But the Bray Wyatt and Uncle Howdy stuff never really connected. LA Knight carried that feud, and I think LA Knight should be the one rewarded for doing so at WrestleMania with something. He's been saying he's going to give WrestleMania an LA Knight moment. We will see what that moment is. And Lashley, I hope they do have something for him as well. He has been one of the best overall performers in the WWE over the past year, and I think underrated at times doing so. Now, how I'm going to talk about the matches that have been announced for the card, I'm going to talk about them in order of least excited for to, I guess, most excited for when it comes to this card. We're going to start there's been 13 matches announced. We'll start at number 13, and that's the Women's Tag Team Showcase, which is a bunch of thrown together women's tag teams that just seems like they're going to feed it for Ronda Rousey and Shayna Baszler. They are likely the favorites to win that match. Maybe even get a shot at the tag titles on night two. Becky Lynch has been teasing also defending the tag titles. So that could possibly be a thing there. But overall, I'm not excited for this match. I hate throwing together tag teams. They don't put any effort into making the women's tag teams mean anything or the tag titles actually mean anything. So who cares about that match? I certainly don't. And that goes the same for the men's tag match, which I have next. That's another showcase match. We have Street Profits. We have Viking Raiders. We have Alpha Academy. And we have Braun Strowman and Ricochet. I think Viking Raiders are the favorites to win this match. I would prefer... I think that's probably the best booking. I think the Street Profits could be way more over than they are if there was split tag titles again. And they keep teasing a singles run from them here in the future, so maybe we'll be getting that eventually. But I think Street Profits are the best tag team of those four, but it does make sense to push the Viking Raiders there in that match. The next match I'm also not very excited for. Damage Control versus Becky, Lita, and Trish. So we got the veterans, Lita and Trish, in this match. Lita and Becky are the tag champions. But the booking for Damage Control, and Becky kind of talked about this in her promo on Raw, kind of throwing this out there. Damage Control hasn't done anything, hasn't gone anywhere. Bayley hasn't really gotten them over. And a lot of that is the bad booking from Triple H for Damage Control. But also overall for the women, I've talked about this before, Triple H's booking for the women, almost as bad as AEW. So it's hard for me to care about this match as well. And next, the last match I can't say I really care about. I know a lot of the WWE hardcore fans out there, on social media, it's always AEW hardcore fans versus WWE hardcore fans. It gets annoying, honestly. But the WWE hardcore fans really pushing hard that, oh my God, Brock Lesnar and Omos is going to be so awesome. These two big dudes, the hype is real. Is it? Is the hype really real? Is this match really going to deliver? I'm not sold. I expect it to be less than 8 minutes, and I expect it to be some botches in there. And I don't even hate Omos as much as a lot of people do, but I don't think this match has that much going for it. So this match is being hyped up a lot. I'm not feeling it. Next, it's a match that I'm kind of looking forward to, mostly because it has a gimmick attached to it. It's Edge versus Finn Balor in Hell in a Cell. Could be one of Edge's last matches. It seems like Edge is being rumored to retire later this year, allegedly. Retire again. But yeah, this has been a long-term booking, but it's been stretched out a little too long for me to care that much. But since it's a Hell in a Cell, I guess that adds a little to it, but I don't expect that to be too crazy of a Hell in a Cell match. So it'll be okay. It will probably deliver. And since it will be possibly Edge's last WrestleMania match, hopefully it delivers for Edge. Up next, it's a match some people are looking forward to, but it's still pretty low on my rankings. And that's the match for the SmackDown Women's title, Rhea Ripley versus Charlotte Flair. I've talked about this before in the past when I was talking about Modern Wrestling more, that Charlotte Flair as a babyface just doesn't work, and we've seen it play out. She has had some subpar promos, in my opinion, as a babyface. She doesn't come off like a babyface. Then you add in Rhea Ripley, who it seemed had a lot of momentum from the booking from Triple H, but they had her against all these men sometimes, doing these spots against the men. And then you throw her back in there with the women, and it kind of just feels off. And I don't really know why. I don't know if that's just Triple H doesn't put in the effort with the women's booking, which is clearly the case. I'm just not a big fan of Charlotte Flair as a babyface. And so Rhea Ripley coming in as the villain to go against her, and her being the favorite to win, and this also possibly being the rumored main event for night one because they want a women's match to main event one of the cards. It should not be this match. If this match main events night one, which I will be there, I will not be staying around till the end of that match so that I could beat the LA traffic. So, Rhea Ripley deserves the title, but this match deserved better booking. Up next, John Cena versus Austin Theory for the U.S. title. They could go either way with the booking here. A lot of people seem to suspect that Cena will win and then do an open challenge the next night at WrestleMania or the Raw after WrestleMania and lose the title to somebody, some possible big person coming in, maybe somebody from New Japan, maybe Jay White. That's the rumor, but we'll see if that happens. I could easily see Austin Theory beat Cena to cement himself as this future star that WWE is obviously pushing very hard. He was booked very strongly these past few weeks leading up to this match with Cena. So the booking here has been okay. I'm just not as big on Austin Theory as some. I watched him back in his YouTube days at times, so I know he has the passion for this business. There's something missing still for me with him, but he's going to be a big star in the WWE. He's being pushed as such, so it's a match that could go either way to me, in my opinion, so that excites me. So it should deliver. Up next for the Intercontinental title, Gunther versus Sheamus versus Drew McIntyre. It's going to be hard-hitting. It's going to be... People are going to call this the match of the year because it's going to be very violent at times, I think, when it comes to looking stiff anyway. It's the fact that it's a triple threat match for me, though, is what kind of takes away from it. It's hard to pull off a good triple threat match. That's just a fact. Do I think these three can do it? Yes. Do I think Gunther should probably retain to get his big push going? I don't know. I maybe can see McIntyre get the win here. Sheamus had a lot of momentum as this babyface, and then WWE kind of squashed that from happening. So I kind of only see Gunther or McIntyre winning, but it should deliver as a match for sure. Up next is Bianca Belair versus Asuka for the Raw Women's title. Arguably worse booking than the SmackDown Women's title. But for me, I think these two have the chemistry, the possible chemistry to deliver more in the ring. Whereas I feel like Charlotte Flair as a babyface telling a story with Rhea Ripley in the ring might not come off as good as people hope. I'm going to give it a chance, obviously. But I've said in the past, I'm a big Bianca Belair fan. I think she tells stories in the ring when she's had matches. She had the best match at WrestleMania last year with Becky. She had one of the best matches 2 years ago at WrestleMania with Sasha Banks. So she always delivers in the ring. She had great matches with Bayley last year. So I can easily see Bianca and Asuka delivering a good match, even though the build to it has been subpar. Maybe this is the time Bianca loses the title. She's had it since last year's WrestleMania, so it will be a year. They're kind of doing a character change for Asuka, but it's not hitting as hard as it could, and I don't know if a title is going to make it hit harder or not. I'm also wondering, are both women's titles going to change hands? I'm not convinced of that. But I am looking forward to this one more than the other, and I kind of wish this was on night one so I can see it live. Number 4 is Seth Rollins versus Logan Paul. I mean, I think I just have this high on my list because I'm looking forward to Seth Rollins' entrance live at WrestleMania. I think it's going to be fun to watch that match. Logan can do high spots. It's not my favorite kind of matches. It's just constant high spots, which is kind of what I see this match devolving into. But for me, I will be there live to watch Seth Rollins, so that will be fun. The next match to talk about, in my opinion, had the second best build to WrestleMania. A long-term storyline. Dominic Mysterio versus Rey Mysterio. We finally saw Rey hitting Dominic last week on SmackDown to cement this match being on the card. They waited and waited and waited for that to happen, which was great. I thought this was a spectacular build, very entertaining build. Dominic as a heel has been fantastic. It's really brought out his personality. Do I think this match is going to be spectacular? Maybe not, but is it going to tell a story? Hell yeah. Is it going to deliver entertainment? Hell yeah. So looking forward to that. Next match, my top 2 is what I think should be the 2 main events, and the next match is the main event of night 2. For the big one, Roman Reigns versus Cody Rhodes. They've sold it. I've said a couple months ago I didn't know how they were going to really sell this with Cody Rhodes. I never thought the audience was going to turn on Cody right now. And I thought that maybe it could happen several months down the line. But right now, I don't even know if that's going to happen. Cody Rhodes is looking like the next guy. They've done a good job of keeping him over. He's done a good job of keeping himself over. The character, we'll see what comes of it. The story, it's there for Cody. He has to finish his story to do what his father couldn't do. I've said in the past, I can see how him losing this match can make it mean more if he wins it in the future. But other people speculating and saying, you gotta strike while the iron is hot. And right now, Cody is a hot babyface. And they didn't strike with Sami Zayn because Sami Zayn isn't seen as Vince and Triple H's guy. But I think Cody Rhodes might be seen as the guy for the WWE going forward. So maybe this is the torch passing match between the guy for the past several years, for arguably the past decade at this point. Roman Reigns was the guy the WWE made happen. And it looks like Cody Rhodes might be the next guy. So, while I do think the story could be there for Roman winning and it could finish the actual Bloodline storyline, I can now see the story diverting to Cody winning and finishing his story. I don't know what comes next for Cody, and it will kind of be a step down from the storytelling with the bloodline. But I can't argue that it isn't the right time for Cody to win the big one, because it feels like maybe it should be. Because doing it again in the future might not be as hot as Cody as a babyface now. So WWE has put them in this position where the story could be there for Roman retaining, but for the actual overall product, for the WWE itself, Cody might need to win this match. But for me, the best match on the card is the tag team match for the Undisputed Tag Team Championship. Usos versus Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens. I'm going to night one specifically, well, like I mentioned at the beginning, because I'm cheap and there was better seats for lower prices at night one. But also because this is the match I'm looking forward to most. This is the Bloodline story culminating here. This is the two people, in my opinion, that made the Bloodline story be as great as it was. Jey Uso at the beginning of the Bloodline story. Without Jey Uso, the Bloodline story never becomes this big thing. Yes, you have Roman Reigns. He's the main draw of the story. But without Jey Uso, the story never catches fire like it did at the beginning. And without Sami Zayn, the story never reignites like it did last year. Because the story was dragging. It was going down. And Sami Zayn breathed a new life into it. So, really looking forward to that tag team match that should main event night one. Will it? For sure. I don't know. But that will be fun. I think Sami and Kevin Owens should win it. They did a good job with their story too. The ex-friends coming back together will be interesting. There is speculation that Kevin Owens will turn on Sami Zayn in that tag match, because it could hold true to his character possibly, but I don't know if that's the right call for the story. Will this end the Bloodline? Will WrestleMania night 1 and 2 be the final nail in the coffin for the Bloodline completely falling apart? We will find out. It's been a great story, and I am looking to see if this is the actual conclusion or not. There's still legs for it to go longer. There really is, especially between Jey Uso and Roman Reigns.